Hello and welcome to another unboxing video. Today we're going to unbox and take a look at the Meng Type 823 Kubelwaggen, or the Kubeltank. So nice box art, nice lift top box, and inside there are a number of noisy bags. 1, 2, 3 noisy bags and a bag of tabs. Now, because of the colour of the plastic, I'm going to change my mat, and I'll open the bags off camera and let's take a look at the sprues. Again, at the end of the video there will be individual sprue shots of each particular component. And as if by magic, the wonders of YouTube, change of colour mat. This is sprue F, which is the biggest sprue, containing the sides of the Kubelwaggen, bonnet, internal components, mud flaps, the turret and the turret components. Again, nicely moulded in a very light white grey plastic. Detail reasonable. There are a lot of ejector knockout pin marks on the inside of the actual car, so those will need to be filled and sanded, especially if they're visible from the inside, from the outside, as you're looking through the transparencies. Sprue A, it would appear to be a common sprue from all the Meng Kubelwagen kits. The inner floor pan, engine, it exhausts, sponsons, internal component fittings, transmission case, steering seats, dashboard and underpan floor detail. Nice separate item here are the slats. If the camera will focus, come on, focus camera. Well, the nice floor slats that get painted, that allow you to paint them separately before you install them into the lower hull pan, lower float plate here. Again, reasonable detail, some knockout marks on some of the components, most of which you won't actually see. And we also finally have sprue E, which contains the wheel fittings and all the other small hull component fittings for the vehicle. Nice wheels, Kubelwaggen wheels with hubcaps on them, some internal seat fittings, different light fittings, horns and wing mirrors, and other nice little components that are fitted to standard Kubelwaggen. The other sprue contains clear transparent parts. Unwrap them and take a look at these. These are nicely wrapped in a sticky plastic sheet. Contains the windshield, the side mirrors, the rear door, and what looks like lens caps for the headlights. Beautifully moulded, beautifully clear, beautifully transparent. And that's sprue J. Also supplied are 5 rubber road wheels. There's tread detail on them. Those sponsor logos on the sides, and finally a very small decal sheet containing Balkan colours, what looks like the speedometer for the inside of the vehicle, and a pair of registration numbers, one front, one rear. Again, nice little detail. Let's take a look at how the vehicle goes together. Put the instruction sheet there. Bear with me just 1 second. This is why I don't like making videos. 3 minutes later. So here's the instructions on a large A5 pamphlet. A potted history of the vehicle, and the parts layout, the number of sprues you get, the usual do not eat the plastic, do not stick the plastic bags over small babies' heads, and the usual information about how to assemble a plastic kit, what you need, what not to do. Okay, we start off with stage 1, which is the assembly of the lower hull pan and parts of the transmission at the back. Step 2 is, again, continuing on with components that fit to the back of the vehicle. Step 3 is where we start assembling the rear mud flaps or mud guards. Stage 4 is adding the exhausts and the engine block at the bottom. Stage 5 is assembly of the forward steering mechanism and attaching it to the roll fall plate. Now I will admit that you need to actually add these before you onto this before you attach it onto here. Guess who made that mistake once. Then it's attached. Stage 6 is attaching the lower floor plates. Stage 7 is painting assembly of the internal duct boards before moving on to stage 8, which is the gear stick, pedals, handbrake and steering lever. Stage 9 consists of the rear body assembly. Stage 10 consists of the assembly of the inner parts, the raised floor plate and the gunner's seat. Stage 11 is assembly of the seat. Stage 12 is assembly of the hull sides. 13 is assembly of the front bonnet. Stage 14 is assembly of the rear engine cover and the attachment of the steering wheel. 15 is assembly of more components to the rear hull. 16 is assembly of the front and rear window installations. 17 is the fitting of the spare wheel and attaching the upper part of the turret on, the upper part of the hull onto the top of the vehicle. Stage 18 is sticking the wheels onto the hubs, the hubcaps, and attaching them to the vehicle along with the engine skid plate. Stage 19 consists of the assembly of the turret, 20 of the wheel lights and hull fittings on the front, 21 is attaching all the wing mirrors and extra spotting lights, and stage 22 is fitting of the rear bumper guard and rear fittings on the rear of the vehicle. And stage 20, the final stage, is painting. You have a choice, overall grey. There's a colour call-out reference for Meng colours, AK colours and water-based acryl vision. And that is the Meng kit. A nice little kit, worth about 20 quid. Funny thing is, by the time you actually see this video, I've built this on another live stream somewhere else. So thank you very much for tuning in, watching. Remember that when this bit ends there will be screenshots of all the components and 4-second delays. Thank you very much. Enjoy, take care, have a good day. Okay, a brief potted history of this vehicle. This particular type of vehicle, was developed just before the outbreak of hostilities in 1939 to educate and teach infantry how to cooperate with tanks on the battlefield, and to an extent how to deal with enemy tanks if they encountered them on the battlefield. They were considerably cheaper to run than a real tank and less likely to cause any injuries. Later on, after the first year of the war, they were relegated to the Luftwaffe, who used them for airfield protection in occupied countries, France, Holland and Norway. The tanks, or the Kubelwaggens that were converted to camouflage tanks in the desert, were of a totally different design and concept to this. These were pressed aluminum bodies. The ones that were in the desert were actually made from canvas and wood. So there you go. Not only did you get to see what's inside the box, you got a potted history of the box.